Welcome, everybody. Thanks again for joining us on SketchUp. This is the first warm Thursday we've had all this year, so I'm pretty happy. Tonight we've got some really a good lineup here for you guys. We have is Arthur E. Buen, an animator for Futurama and Simpsons, and he's done a book called California Inc. He's also brought Dave Law with him. Dave has been with us for a few times now, so we're happy to have him back. Also, we have a new artist we'd like to introduce you to, Austin Ackert. So we'll get down to what that all is going to be right after this short commercial break. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks again for joining us on SketchUp. If you haven't yet, hit that follow button. Help us to increase our followers here so that way we can continue to bring you wonderful shows like Order Up, the Final Cutoff Show. Every Friday is at 9 a.m. in the morning, PST, and 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Right? And tonight, like I said, we've got some special guests today. We'd like to introduce you to Arthur E. Buen, Dave Law, who you've met a few times here already. And our new artist for today is Austin Ackert, who we met in Phoenix Fan Fusion last year. And we'll be seeing him again next week as we head over to Phoenix Fan Fusion again. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
How you doing?
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, let's get started to see what's on the auction board tonight. We have Arthur is working on a... What are you working on, Arthur?
Let me pull it up here. Get it a little bit closer so you can see it. It is a sketch of Krusty losing his mind about AI art.
Nice.
Krusty.
And what is the starting bid on that going to be?
I think we're gonna start off low. Start off with 10 and just see where it goes. I'm filling it all in now with I'm getting the dark purple pencil on there that I usually use to start, and I'll leave it there. If we hit a certain number, maybe I'll ink it.
All right, Dave, what are you going to be working on tonight?
Today I'm going to be working on a image of Tank Girl. It's one of the comic books that kind of used to love back in like the early 2000s, and
right.
I just decided it was maybe it was a good one to draw. I was kind of just brainstorming with some of my friends on what to do. I kind of have been doing a lot of work recently. I haven't actually thought about doing things just for that I think would be fun to draw. So I kind of had to get back in that mode for this. But it's Tank Girl is always a fun one to try to draw. So yeah,
she is it's a fun character. So always good to see her. And Austin.
Hey
guy, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Yeah, pretty good, man. All right, so are you ready for next weekend?
I hope so.
and what are you working on?
Ready. What am I working on?
Yeah.
So my all-time favorite movie is Terminator 2, and see if I can get this up. My camera situation kind of sucks, so I got a really crappy tripod and I got my cell phone on it. And this is backwards, of course, to you guys, but forwards to me, obviously. And when I'm done with it, should be backwards to you guys. See, it should. Or are you guys getting it straight?
Yeah,
we're getting it backwards.
Yeah, we're getting it straight.
Oh, well, then it's backwards to me and forwards to you guys. Anyway, so I'm drawing a Terminator. I'm going to start inking it here soon.
Okay, so we've had to change the way how we do things here between Mog and I, so there might be some confusion, so I do apologize for that. I really hate sharing, but oh well. This is the best that we can do until I get this situated. I want to say hello to Chris McCombs, Richard Shipp.
Yeah,
nice to see you guys here.
It's been a while.
Stevie B, good to see you. You guys are great for your support. Eddie Von B, thanks for coming on. Ken K.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah, we got a good amount of guys coming here. All right. So,
It says, what's the starting bid for Dave, though?
Dave, your starting bid was 50. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There you go. And Arthur is starting at 10. And
Just for
Austin,
fun,
you're starting at what are
50
you
as well.
starting? 50. Okay. And Mog is working on an original character from
It's
something
steampunk.
that we've been kind of like working on in the background whenever we get the chance. And it's an original character from
It's like basically steampunk agents.
Yeah, it's a steampunk vampire.
Police agents.
Okay, so then you can go along that line. We'll see how that goes. We've done a few of these before, and they go really, really fast. And I'll see if I can show you a few more later. Now, the starting bid on that is going to be 100, and this is on an 8.5 by 11. And I want to thank Richard. He's put Dave and Art on the board, taking their initial bid. So we got
Oh, nice.
for Dave and 10 for Arthur.
Right
Yes.
on.
Right
Thank
on.
you. You're gonna get a steal of a deal with Arthur there too, starting really low. He wants to see the action, so go ahead and place those bids because it's gonna go much higher than that.
Art's the real deal. I have actually a couple original Simpsons images by him as well, and they're awesome. They're really cool. He's it's been a while since he was an animator, but I don't think he's lost any of his touch. His touch for it. Everything he's done for me has looked awesome. I've had him draw. I just recently got one of Mayor Quimby, and
you gotta stash that away. Yeah, maybe a couple more decades, and that'll get up there in value. And Stevie B puts an $11 bid on Arthur's artwork, but however, that is invalid. I'm sorry, we're only taking bids in increments of at least 5. Okay. But other than that, Chris McCombs comes in there and he places a $20 bid on Krusty, and he has doubled that starting bid already. So thank you very much for that, guys.
Very
All
cool.
right, we're up to a good start here. So let me see, Art. Are you formally trained, and where did you go?
Let's see. So I originally wanted to go to Cal Arts and actually got declined right out of high school, which was soul crushing. So I moved to LA from San Diego, which I'm back in San Diego now, and moved to LA to go study at 3 smaller unaccredited art schools, which had a bunch of animators in the industry who were teaching there, and I wanted to build my book. And so I worked on building my book with all these animators and background artists, created my own kind of curriculum. And then after about 3 years of kind of studying, I was still actually in the process of applying to not just CalArt, but then I was trying to get into the studios too anyways. And one year, on my 3rd year, I got both accepted into CalArts, and then I got the offer to be on the 1st season of Futurama. So
wow. At the same time?
Yeah. So I had to choose between school or going to work. And everybody who was getting into Futurama got recruited. Not everybody, a lot of them got recruited from CalArts. So I was like, well, I mean, I kind of did it on my own and took the job. And then after the 1st season, I then moved on to The Simpsons, and I did that for about 2.5 seasons. And I still love drawing them, as Dave mentioned. I still love. I haven't lost my touch because they're fun to draw. They're just it's just kind of built into me. We're all taught to draw the same way to make sure everybody's on model, and it's kind of my fun way of kind of just letting loose and drawing on the side. So yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. My roommate at the time, he was in the same. He went to the same high school as me. And we both ended up at Film Roman. Film Roman is where The Simpsons was at, on the bottom floor. And then the next floor above was King of the Hill, which is the show he got on. So how cool is that? So we both moved to LA to go get into animation. We both got on at the same studio, and we're like old high school buddies.
How lucky is that?
I mean, it's as you all know, it's also putting in the work, right?
Right.
So yeah, it was a fun time in my life. But I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing now. So I moved on to advertising for about the last 16 years after moving to Boston to go study design, advertising, and photography. And then the last 2.5 years, I've been focusing on comics creation. And then I do a lot of video production for like commercials and a lot of public service kind of messaging. It's like really heavy stuff too, like suicide prevention, mental health awareness, a lot of that stuff. So a lot of meaningful work. But I mean, not to say I didn't have any fun with my art. Like I said, I worked on Jack in the Box, and then I worked on King of the Hill. Oh my gosh, Futurama, The Simpsons.
Wow.
I did work on Jack in the Box actually. I did actually work
Nice.
So that was a fun time too. So I got to work on some fun brands over some time here. So, but getting to draw Cressy right now is fun.
It says one of the comments here, Richard. He said, "I was secretly hoping that you would draw a Futurama character."
I mean, here's the thing. So I'm actually building a nice little bank of these 8x10s, and I'm bringing them with me to shows.
Oh.
I think I already have like 7 little sketches. I have a couple Krusties. I have a Homer. I might have some Fries in there. I did draw Fry doing his famous. That was one of my scenes, was him breakdancing. So that was fun. That was a fun one.
Wow. Okay. And so there's a chance, I don't know, we could bring you back on the show again sometime in the future, and you can have a whole array of that and offer it up to everybody. So pay attention, Richard.
We could do that.
Hit that follow button and stay tuned to what we will have to offer. Hey, was it an easy? Did you always want to do comics? Because that is kind of an easy transition.
I've always kind of read. I'm sorry, excuse me. That's a lie. I never read my comics. Dave knows this story. I owned a whole bunch of comics, and I never actually read them because I liked them for the art. So my roommates would make fun of me for having so many comics, but never actually reading them. And I only finally read Planetary like 2 years ago. But I mean, always been a fan of comics. I was really into when those folks left the big 2 and started Image. That was kind of inspirational, wasn't that? Y'all remember that? Mm-hmm. And then I took a break from comics around the time I moved to Boston to go study advertising. And then when I came back, Image turned into something different. It was more about the creator owned, less about the superhero types. Nothing wrong with that stuff, because I still like that stuff too. But that turned me back into a reader, was all the creator owned stuff like Deadly Class, Lazarus.
Yeah, they were actually turning away from doing superhero comics. They didn't feel like there was going to be a market, or they didn't want to compete with it. So we saw a big transition in that with Image.
Yeah, the creator-owned stuff is pretty darn inspirational. So, it's like, it doesn't have to be. It could be stuff that you just want to see on the shelf that's kind of an interesting story that happens to be a comic book. And so that kind of inspired me to go, hey, I've been wanting to write something. Let me put something together on paper. And our editor, Justin and David and I, David. I almost called him David, but I did. Dave and I, our friend Justin, he's our editor. He's one that convinced me to start like putting pen to paper to start writing my stories that I have now. And it's been a fun adventure having someone like that.
I agree.
Okay. And so you did this story, California Inc., which you just completed with Dave here. Can you tell our audience what that's about?
Yeah, it's called California Inc. The quick log line is, in the near future, California becomes a corporate country with factions fighting to shape a new nation. So if you're a fan of shows like Showtime's Homeland or HBO Succession is kind of where those two meet. You've got like, the military tactics, and then you've got the boardroom backstabbing. You know, and the funny thing was, Dave and I have been working on this for years, the last 2.5 years, but I wrote it back in 2017. So as much as it might seem kind of prescient or, you know, topical now, I wrote it before any of the current climate. So, yeah. So, you know, it's been a fun adventure. Dave was awesome. I met him. What year did we meet Dave? In 2021, 2019? Well, no, 2022, 21.
So, somewhere around there. I think we still had masks on, so it was. Like,
yeah. We met at LA Comic Con.
I knew him like this for like the first year. All I knew was eyes.
Yeah. And he took a chance on me, and you know, I after I met him at the con, I was like, "Hey man, would you be willing to illustrate my book?" He's like, "What is this? Who are you?
Give me that."
He said, "Get out of my face, kid." I was like, "I'm older than you."
Why are you still hanging out at my booth? God.
Respect your elders.
Wow.
Yeah,
But so that was at a con, right?
Yeah, at LA Comic Con.
Okay, that
And
was.
so and then in the last 2.5, did it take 2.5 days? It took about a little over 2, but not quite exactly too far past.
Okay, yeah. It seemed like you guys were together for a while, because we only met Dave. I want to say that was like 23 only.
Yeah.
In 2023 at Fan Expo San Francisco.
Yeah,
So,
was that when I met you guys?
It was only actually it was at a restaurant. It was through Phil.
Well, actually, it was through Christy. She got everybody there.
Oh yeah, never mind.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It was at that. Okay, in that kind of sketchy neighborhood in San Francisco. The restaurant's cool, but
the restaurant was good.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you decided to write this, but you didn't want to draw it. Why did you not want to draw it?
Yeah.
I'm slow as hell. No, I'm used to animating scenes that are given to me. You know, like I'm more of a character animator. You know, like I think of the acting behind things and then movement. I was never much into actual storyboarding, although I do appreciate the hell out of it. And, you know, with paneling, it's a combination of both, I would say. And so I wasn't much of a background guy. I focused mostly on the acting and animation. You know, I was the guy with the mirror at my table and constantly making faces. So that's my focus. And then also that way I can keep writing. If I was waiting for myself to finish illustrating, we'd still be at the beginning of page 1 of issue 1 right now. Where with Dave, you know, he's illustrating and I'm writing, and we knocked out 4 issues in just under 2 years. So, you know,
how did you get rid of that God complex where it's like, hey, this is my baby, you better treat it like you're creating God out of your hands. I don't want shit, you know.
Get rid of it.
I think,
I'm sorry, I don't want crap. Like
no. Well, two things. I worked in advertising, and 99.9% collaboration. Nothing is precious. We have to come up with for you to see one ad. There was at least 30 ideas that came before, and then we throw it on the wall. And then between the creative team, we start poking holes in our own ideas, narrow down to 10, and we narrow down to the 3 before I show it to the client, and the client tears out. You know, so you kind of get over things quick, and then at the same time, this is my project that I came up with. But when I saw Dave's work, I was like, that's what I want the story to look like. And so it's not my story now; it's mine and Dave's. So for it to be Dave's too, I had to go, well, Dave's got to have fun. Dave's got to make it his too. So trust my partner in making it look as good as the stuff that I've seen. But in my story, and so it became our story. Just it's kind of fun. Like I think it's cool throwing an idea at a designer and saying, here's the art direction, and here's the concept, here's a few headlines, show me what you can come up with. And then same with this, it's like I have a certain angle, but then you know how it is once you start putting pencil to paper, it looks different.
Yeah.
Let me just show the progress here of this.
That's like one of the hardest things that a creator has.
There you go.
It's like Krusty. All right.
Wow.
And that bid for Krusty is up to $30 already put in by Richard. Okay, so that's still going. All right, and we got a long ways to go before the show is over. So, all right. But anyway, I was saying that that's one of the hardest things for someone to let go is that control, especially if you are the creator, the main creator. But I think that's something that you have to realize because you are working as a team. Even when you hire an artist, they have their creative direction on how they see things, what they feel better, and sometimes they have a hard time letting go and just saying, you know what, I'm just a hired hand here. I just got to do what this guy wants. He's the one paying my paycheck, So, but it's hard. It's a very, very
But however, if you do
it's
that,
a hard line to establish.
Yeah.
How you're gonna work together, and it always differs from from team to team.
Yeah, and the one thing that you don't understand, maybe not you, maybe the people who you say like you should just be a hired hand, then you're never going to be able to tap into their full potential from the artist. You're basically saying, I know how to do the visual arts. I can. So you're just a hand, a machine. I want you to be a machine and crank it out for me. It has to be exactly like this because this is what I want. I don't want anything else. I want it to be just, what do you call that? Undiluted as possible.
Yeah, but you're losing the opportunity for it to get better, right? And that's kind of think about.
Yes. As a writer,
well,
I don't know, but maybe you're not going to use like I was saying, going back to what I say, for the artist, you're never going to utilize their full potential if you do that. Yeah.
I mean, think about, like I said, I do video production, and the storyboard, as locked in as it might be,
on
the day of shooting, you're going to catch a shot or the light a certain way that might actually inspire a moment even better. So why not be open to change so that it gets better? Because anytime you bounce something off someone, hopefully it gets better. At the very least, listen to it. I'm a big fan of, especially in the early stages, if it's a bad idea, go ahead and throw it out because it could be the seed to a better idea. So if you don't throw out the bad idea, which is the seed to a better idea, then you lost the better idea because you didn't put it out there. And same with any creative team. Who wants to be? I've been on that side as an artist. If I'm not doing exactly the way they want, that's boring for me because I'm not expressing myself as an artist. You just become like a human mouse, and you're just drawing exactly what they want.
Yeah, I think that's something that you have to figure out early on as to what kind of relationship you're going to have and understand who's in control. You can try to push control and try to be creative and see if they're going to be open. But if they're not, don't. I say don't fight it. It just doesn't. It just leads to heartache down the road.
I met writers who again like art teams, and some writers have this. There's sometimes some of the writers they are like this type of person where they say I bring out the best in them, and these are the tight control, by the way, the tight control writers. So if it wasn't for me, they would never. I can see exactly where the potential is going to be, and I can, by me pushing it this way, this is how far I brought this person to. They take credit for that too, and I've seen that. It's just really interesting how how they think. Some of the controlling writers, they are, some types are like that, where they take if it wasn't for me, this person would never go to this far direct because I'm the director. They see themselves as director. And then the other one is like, I want it to be as undiluted as possible, as pure to my vision as possible. So you just be a hand. Like there's two types that kind of like broadly branches out. I don't know if you've ever met writers like that, but yeah.
Yeah, and also going back to what you said about directors, some of the greater directors are open to other people's ideas on set. You know, it's
that's so funny because Mel, you know, remember we had this conversation. Like one of the best directors are all the most control freaks.
Are they?
Like, absolute control freaks. That's why they're so good.
Yeah, there's a few like that, but I think as people rise up, you know, as far as like being a professional, you know, they learn to be open. But in the independent market, right, that's not the case. These guys have they want the total control because they feel that they know what needs to be done right now. If they could afford to have a star artist, they probably would, and they would probably give that freedom. But when they're paying you on a lower end of the pay scale for a penciler, they feel like they know better, right? Not all of them, though, but you know.
That's the time to be more forgiving, right, Dave? If I'm not paying someone enough, you be like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take a short commercial break, but before we do, I want to get over to Austin.
Yeah.
You've got a couple books that you wanted to put up for claim. Can we show those? Hello, Austin.
Oh, yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was zoning out on my drawing. Hold on.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens, man. You just get into the mode. Yeah. But these are two books that Austin has up to offer here. Here you go. Oh, there is Swamp Thing.
Oh.
Okay.
Nice.
He's looking for 80 on that. So if you want that, just go ahead and put that in the comment, and that it will be yours. And the other book he has,
Nice.
classic here.
Nice.
If you're into that, look at all that. The stars, the Jupiter, the bike. Oh yeah, eyes popped out. Looking for 80 on that if you're interested in that. Okay. All right, so you have those two books.
Cool.
Let's take a quick look to now, going around the room to see what everybody has on their art sheet so far.
You can't see anything. Mine's like just
Alex is still invisible.
very invisible.
You know, because she's slow.
Yeah, I'm slow.
All right, but that is some kind of vampire girl. Looking for a bit of $100 on that starting out. And then let's look at that Krusty again from Art.
Give me 1 second here. I will turn off the.
That currently has a bid of $30, so we are looking for the next bid of $35 or better.
Wow.
Classic.
Right, you're getting this from Arthur,
so good.
An official animator of the series. So this is legit, guys. Put those bids in.
Oh.
And now Dave is working on Tank Girl.
Nice.
She's coming in there all smiles, but don't let that fool you.
No, I love how Dave works.
That's awesome.
I love how Dave works. Like, I think his style and his method of drawing is similar to mine. I just start really rough, and then things start to carve out. And that's my style. I'm a very messy artist.
And like I said, Dave has been on the show here before, and Stevie B remembers that because he got a Banshee piece from him the very first time that he was here, and he was pretty happy with that. Okay, and we'll be seeing Stevie B when we get to New York. Hopefully, we'll have a chance to get there this time again.
Oh, what's up, Stevie? Thanks for the support.
And I'm just noticing the comment about the toys.
Yeah, exactly.
And he writes, "Is that Christy or my 8th grade geometry teacher?"
Christy, but yeah.
Okay.
I think he misspelled it. Yeah.
All right. I thought he meant something else, but well.
Yeah.
And here we have Terminator on the Terminator sketch cover.
Yes.
By Mr. Austin Ackert.
Austin.
There you go. He's got
What?
I
got the
like
big
the homie
guns
that's
on there.
Very
He's got
good.
the arm that's all
Nice.
shot up. Okay,
Ooh,
working on that.
yeah.
Kind of hard to
Laid
show.
down, he's linking it.
I like how he puts the most important thing first, the guns. Literally the arm and
The arm.
figuratively. You
The
know,
arm, yeah.
it's the guns.
Okay, looking for a bid of $50 on that. So if you guys want to start that off in the comments, go ahead. And on that note, we will be right back after this short commercial break.
According to a statistic that I just made up, people spend 4 hours a day changing the television channel. People who watch The Experience don't do that. Save yourself a ton of time by tuning into The Experience and enjoying our new original programming 7 days a week. And then tell your friends. Think about the money they could save on batteries in the remote alone just by tuning into The Experience. Find out more by scanning the QR code below.
Sure, comic books are beautiful, but underneath, there's something more authentic and exciting. The original art. See the pencils, the lines, the shading, as if you were there in the studio watching the artist work. Getting a peek at comics' backstage is easy with the original art experience.
All right, Friday night, guys. Thank you for being here. To be doing anything, the fact that you're here means the world to me.
Nick's pieces are always value priced with your budget in mind, for the beginning collector to the veteran.
And this is gorgeous. You got Aquaman and Mira.
Join the original art experience with Nick and our friendly crew of regulars, even if it's just to enjoy the art. Fridays at 7. It's all part of the experience. FOC, a comic industry term for the final day a new comic can be ordered by a local comic shop. So, what does that mean to you? Well, it's your last chance to order a new comic book from your local comic shop. Order up! The FOC show will go over every book that's about to be cut off every Friday afternoon.
I'm going to highlight some of the stuff that I think is really worth paying attention to,
so that you can put in an order at your LCS for as many copies or as many variant covers as you want.
Sometimes the store needs to know to up their orders.
Never miss out on a popular comic again. Order up, part of the experience.
Did you know that Arthur, King of the Britons in Monty Python and the Holy Grail was played by a famous Graham? Check out another famous Graham by following our Instagram.
Okay, thanks again. Welcome back to SketchUp. And we are here back with Arthur E. Buen, Austin Eckert, and Dave Law. All right. So California Inc., was that your very first campaign?
Yeah, the first comic that I wrote, and then also my first Kickstarter put together. And I think, Dave, we could say we've done pretty good.
Yeah, I think it went really well. Yeah, 4 issues, all funded, usually quite a bit over goal. And weren't they all like projects we love from Kickstarter too?
One of them was not. That hurt my soul a little bit, but it still got funded.
No, I think I can't seem to hear anything right now. Let me see. Okay, somebody say something. Okay, there we go.
Great, Dave. That was amazing.
Oh man,
put me on the spot.
I get used to this new setup here.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I didn't hear, but California Inc. was your first campaign?
Yeah, first comic book I've ever written. I've written so many. So that was the thing that really kind of got me going was Justin. Like I said, I met him at a comic shop, and he's written a few things. And I'm in advertising, and we would write these 30-second commercials, and I would spend months researching and becoming somewhat of an expert because I got to speak on behalf of my clients. So I could sound like I know what I'm talking about, and the ad is very informed. And so all that knowledge, and you boil it down to 30 seconds. And, I've always kind of wanted to write long form because researching was always fun. Kind of putting stories together was fun, and telling those stories to then pitch those 30-second commercials. And And then Justin was like, go ahead and write something. So, I would write some stuff. I started pitching a couple ideas, and we got to California Inc. And he's like, that sounds pretty cool. You should put that to paper. And, just a few years of hanging out, meeting up for lunch, Justin would give me some notes and edits. And after a couple of years of writing, we're like, I think we finished a series. And then it's like, oh, maybe now that that's done, let's see if I go find an artist. And that's how we met Dave.
Just like that. So, was it hard for you to figure out how to market the book? Because that's like one of the biggest things that has people ask, right? And we were in that panel for what was that at WonderCon? Right?
Yeah.
And that was a question that somebody had asked, right? And I gave my answer. What is your answer?
Anytime so again, I come from advertising and design, branding. And a branding is a stupid word that people hate these days, but that's a marketing term. That means you are literally like branding a hot piece of metal into the skin of a cow. You're trying to embed something into people's brains, so when they see it, it's familiar, and it takes a lot of time. And so that's always been part of my creative background the last so many years in advertising. And so when it came time to put out the story, that was just doing everything I've been doing for my clients, but instead just for me. So I had all the tools, but the only problem is I didn't have the team. So, we had a social media team, we had a media buying team, we had different relationships with different outlets. I had to do it all on my own. And so I knew that issue 1 would be the hardest because no one knew what it was. And by issue 4, Dave and I had been on a few podcasts like this. We've been at a few cons together. And by issue 4, anybody who might not have given us a chance said, well, we've heard about this the last 2 years, and this is the end of the series. At least we know it's done. So let's give it a whirl, and it's consistency, right? And so that's what it was for me. It was just, as much as I worked on the book, I had to put that much energy into the marketing. And, people ask what marketing is. So you have social media, you have advertising, you have podcasts, you have PR, you have all those things.
Yeah.
All the marketing is just planning all that, taking all those pieces and planning them so they're on a schedule. My old buddy, he's on here right now. At least I saw him message me earlier, Avi Brand.
Yeah.
We both met at an ad agency together. He gets it. We were in advertising for years. It's literally just pounding the pavement, getting the word out there. But then the thing that's most important isn't just getting it out there, but getting it out there to the right people. And that first year was about trying to find your audience. And so the first year is just blanket, you push it out, and you start taking notes of who's responding to it. And then you see who's actually talking about it, and you start making notes. And then by the 4th issue, I'm not wasting my energy on everybody. I've found the type of people who like our type of comic. I've seen influencers or people who have comic podcasts or any kind of commentary who've said something about our comic. I'll make a little note and I'll reach out to them and say, hey, it's not much of a cold call anymore at that point. And so marketing in the beginning is hard. And it's not easy later on, but it's easier because as you brand your brand,
right,
there is some familiarity. It's just one, being consistent, delivering on time, as you know, and hopefully delivering a high quality product. And the other part is be yourself. Dave he's lying right now. If you look at him, he's a complete asshole normally. He's usually yelling at me. He's screaming. He's always throwing a fit.
Wow, Dave. I didn't know you're such a diva.
Yeah. Totally.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I just saw this comment. About 35% of my job on the experience is branding and marketing. It's true. We have to turn off our creative brain for making and turn on our creative brain on how we reach people. and it's a different type of creative. But I actually enjoy it. I know a lot of creatives don't like advertising and marketing, but because I did it for so many years and I actually enjoy it. But this time it's for my stuff. It's like, yes, this is fun. It's tiring as
it is. A lot of people ask me too, because Mog and I are a team, and I'm not the guy that draws. Mog does all the drawing, so that's the main function, I guess, of her team, is that she draws, right? And I do all the marketing, right? And it takes time. It takes a lot of time to push stuff out. Even doing it for this show.
Yeah.
What I had to do to maintain all this, that I have deadlines that need to be met and submit that to producer Kyle.
Yeah.
And hopefully I don't get yelled at, hey Mel, you got us in too late, you know.
Well, you forgot this piece of information. Dang it.
Or something, or I try to stay on top of it as much as I can.
Oh, speaking of Kyle, he said he has a surgery tomorrow. So everybody, let's wish him.
Wishing you the best,
really,
buddy.
surgery.
Wishing you the best.
I will say this: Mel is one of the most proactive people I've ever met when it comes to marketing his partner's art. Like every time I've done anything with Mog, Mel has been on it ahead of time and way ahead, and he does that with this show too, with all of his guests. Like, I will likely know tomorrow who's going to be on the show next week, because that's how good Mel is. Although I think I'm hosting next week, so I probably won't know
you're hosting next
because
week.
I'm a schmuck. So, you know what I mean? When Mel is
don't you need like a week recovery from surgery? That's like,
I'm taking a day off.
What?
Yeah.
So you're walking in and walking out.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm taking tomorrow off, and I'll be back to work Saturday.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Well, because I mean, I could do my work from my bed. Like, that's why laptops were invented, right? So why would I take more time off?
You know, that's exactly what happened to me. I ended up going to the hospital for a few days, and I ended up just working on my phone. I just couldn't get off of it, and I had to tell Mog, you got to come back and bring me the charger just so I can be able to stay on.
Well, I think you guys were guests on our 6-month anniversary of the EXP.
Yeah.
Where I produced the entire 2-day, 36-hour event or whatever it was from my hotel room or my hospital room, with IVs coming in and out of me. It was pretty great.
Whoa.
It was a good time.
Dang.
That's not cool.
Oh my God.
But that's the devotion that we have. And it's funny that we're talking about this, right? Because there's something that I was going to bring up later towards the end of the
Me
show.
too.
And we'll talk about that.
I think I know what you're going to talk about.
Now. I never told anybody what I was going to talk about.
Oh, really?
That's yeah.
I thought it was something funny.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. It's actually serious.
Don't
very
do it.
serious.
Then. Don't do it. Don't depress people, Mel.
Okay,
I think the ability to work sometimes when you're in those situations can be a nice way of getting your mind off of some things. And I think if that's the reason, it's a good thing to do. But if it's affecting your recovery, like that's when you gotta try to.
That's why I love Dave. He's logical.
Well, basically, you guys all understand, right? Is like essentially we all work for startups.
Yeah.
All of our brands, all of our, careers, we're self-employed, we're startups.
Yeah.
And that's what the EXP is. It's a startup. Like, we've been doing it for 4 years, but it's still a startup. Sometimes you got to work through the pain and work through I just want to take a nap to get the branding done or to get the marketing done or to, I don't know, finally designed a new opener for Mel and Mog's show that I've been meaning to do for a year and a half.
Yeah, Kyle, when are you going to do that?
I kind of miss the old one, actually.
I like the new one. It's all action packed. Like the old one was like, like a little more like classic sitcom kind of a vibe. This one's like this is more of like an action adventure.
That's very true. And see, Steve writes, Mel's going to reveal how he made the captain's mess. Wouldn't you like to know, Stevie boy?
Sounds.
And Dave, okay. Oh, that's good. Dave lays down the law. Depends if you heard that.
I'll tell you.
So how can these guys, can they still pick up California Inc.?
Correct. Yes.
Anyway, what is it about?
Oh, weren't you listening? You didn't
Not
listen?
really.
Oh my
No,
God.
I was listening for it, but I don't think I remember hearing
He just
it.
went over the whole story, Mom.
I know,
The whole
you know-
Oh,
thing.
I was downstairs getting stuff for you.
And the thing is, Mug,
I'm sorry.
we've asked that question before
Yeah,
from Arthur and Dave. So we've heard it a couple
yeah,
times.
I know.
It's all good.
Don't take this personally.
You're
please.
going to have to ask him on your own
No,
time.
at
I'm
the same
sorry,
time,
my
Mog, I
dear.
get it because when I'm drawing, sometimes I can zone out. So I get it. When you're zoning,
No,
you're
it's not
zoning.
bad. Mel has me go downstairs and get stuff for me. I'm not there.
Excuses. This girl's always full of
I'm serious.
excuses, man.
I was-
Get out of here.
I see that it would moved up to 30, so I'm gonna start inking this thing. Hopefully that'll
All right,
reward whoever's next.
All right.
to-
So where is it that people can pick up?
studio12-7.com. Studio, the word studio. obviously.
12-7.com.
Yeah,
So
studio.
you guys got that?
Yeah, studio, the number 12-7.com.
There you go. California Inc. Studio
12-7.
12-7.com.
Correct.
Okay, 12 before 7.
You know, you said that you are like part of, like, you see Dave as part of your creative team.
Yes.
And so does it mean like literally it transfers into he can sometimes even change the script a bit?
I think he's changed some stuff visually. So it's funny, the script that I wrote before I met Dave it's considered full script, which now that I know better, most creatives don't like that. It's no room for someone to create panels. So I paneled it out in my script, and it takes longer. It takes much longer to script that way too.
Yeah.
But I did that because I've never written a comics script before. I've written commercials scripts before. So I'm paneling it out in my script. And I wanted to prove to myself that the comic that I wrote can become a comic book by making sure it fits between 5 and 7 panels a page, minimum, maximum.
Very good. Very good.
And with that, Dave did come back with some visual edits, and he changed some stuff in a great way. Like my favorite one is that sequence that you did Dave, of LB at the end of issue 2 when he's falling. That's one of my favorites. It's I don't think I even paneled it that way, but what he did, like, it made way more sense and gave it so much more gravity. And so that's what you look for in a partner, is someone to, you hire an expert, you want them to use your expertise.
Exactly.
And at that point, it's not hiring. It was making sure he's compensated for his time, because it's not his fault that I wrote it for free on my own time. Now I'm like, hey, you have time to do this. I'm not gonna just do this for free just in case we can make money,
Wow.
At least buy me a burger. Yeah, but yeah, okay, point well taken there. Let me get over to Austin here.
Yeah, the quiet one.
Who's drawing this Terminator sketch cover. And Austin has I was reading his bio, and he's all over the place in a good way.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a hard time figuring out what is your main job? Is it teaching?
No. Like, if my day job that pays my bills is actually nothing artistic at all. I am an asbestos and mold abatement specialist, or an environmental contractor, which is basically like I do glorified demolition. Like, I demolish parts of buildings and houses that have mold or asbestos in them, and make sure it's all clean. And there's all sorts of codes you have to adhere by, and so yeah.
I know about that job, actually. That's a good job to have in my book. It does pay the bills for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
and
so
I got 2 kids, so I gotta make sure I got those bills paid.
right.
Yeah.
Now, but so are you teaching then still? Is that like more of a part-time job then?
I've never taught.
Okay. My bad.
I've always thought about it, but I honestly don't know if I'm at a level where I would be valuable to someone if I taught them. I feel like I'm still learning, but I've always thought that it would be fun to like teach kids during summer, or maybe one day if I do well, maybe I could be a teacher somewhere, but never taught.
I think you have enough skills to teach kids at any level at this time with what I see from your work. So if that's something that you want to pursue, I honestly believe that you can do it. You're the main artist for Adventure
Thank you,
of
man.
Gabe's Cave. What is that about?
That is so there's a publisher called Aquatos Comics, which I'm sure nobody's ever heard of, but they the guy who like runs the company or whatever, he lives out like near like Louisiana and Arkansas, and out there is in Arkansas specifically, there's a comic shop called Gabe's Cave, and they have a YouTube channel and pretty decent social media presence, and he knows all the guys and hangs out with them. And I guess him and this other artist named Tone Rodriguez, who's worked on Simpsons Treehouse of Horror comics, he's worked on the Kiss comics and Snake Plissken comics, and he's on that Stray Dogs book that's out right now, or I think it's Feral now.
Yeah,
but
Feral.
anyway, they were like driving, and they were like, it would be a cool idea to come up with stories about these guys at the comic shop. They go on like misadventures. The first book, they go on a fishing trip, and there's these giant fish monsters that attack them. And then the second book, they go on a camping trip, and there's like an alien Yeti. So it's fun stuff. It's almost kind of like Scooby-Doo-ish adventure of the week type thing, or whatever. But they also published the Tremors comic book, which I think that's the book that I've been part of that might actually get me some sort of attention eventually, because it's the first time there's ever been a Tremors comic book. And luckily I got to be part of that, and that's been pretty fun.
Right on. Oh, okay, cool.
Are you doing the internals for that?
Yeah, it's an anthology. So I'm one of the artists that there's 3 issues out now. They're about to start printing the 4th one, and then I think that's supposed to come out like this next month. And then there's supposed to be a 5th one, and then we're gonna make a trade paperback at the end to collect all 5 issues or whatever. Tone Rodriguez does all the covers. He's done, I think, a couple stories in a couple of the issues where I think he illustrated them, someone else wrote them, but I wrote and drew the stories in the first and second one, and then I drew someone else's story in the 3rd one, and then wrote and drew my own story in the 4th one as well.
Are these all like from the movies Tremors?
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess they never did any merchandising for that movie, and they have a Tremors festival in Santa Fe every year, and so I know it's like the craziest thing. You would never think that they would have a Tremors festival, but it's basically like a giant con for Tremors. And these guys went there, and they were like, hey, how come you guys never did a comic book? In the second movie, they show a comic book on the stands, but it was just a prop. And they were like, oh, yeah, we just, I forget what they said, what was the reason. They just never ended up doing any merchandising. And they were like, but if you guys want to do it, go ahead. So it's nice. It's got the blessing from the official, like, original people that made the first 4 Tremors movies, who just got the rights back. But it's also a fan-made thing. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. I love that movie as a kid, and I was, like, super stoked when I found out they'd let me be part of it.
That's rad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's very cool. Very cool. All right. And you also published your own book as well.
Yeah, it was my first book. I started it during the pandemic. I figured I'd try to make my own comic book, and I'm just now finishing the 6th issue. It was supposed to be like, I was like, for my first thing ever, I'm gonna do an entire graphic novel, and that was a stupid idea. So another guy told me to split it into pieces, like cut it up so that, you know, I'm not, because otherwise nobody would have ever seen it, or I never would have had a book on my table if I would have waited until I finished it, because I'm still working on it. But so that's what I did. I just cut it into 6 different books, and I think I might try to do a Kickstarter for kind of like what they want to do with the Tremors book, where I'll do like a trade paperback. It's, you know, everybody's doing that, where they'll do
Right.
a little mini series and then release it as a trade. But I've never done a Kickstarter before, so I don't know. The book is really niche. It's kind of weird, but
Art, talk to Art, man. He seems to like have figured it out really well with our book that we did through Kickstarter.
There you go.
I would encourage you to, I would empower you to do it, because you get to do it on your own terms. Just use every bell and whistle that you can in there. I would say go meet as many Kickstarter people who are doing it. Now that I know you, when you push it out, I'll signal boost the hell out of it. You know, just go meet people, get as much info and, you know, kind of working knowledge of it from other people as possible. That's what I did. It took me about 1.5 years of Dave and I were working on the book. I was meeting folks so that come time to push it out as a new first book, a decent amount of people already knew about it before it even came out. And then from there, it just goes. So
that is
cool. It's fun to meet all these creators.
And that's something that a lot of people don't do. They think that they have to just like do it on their own, right? And but the smart guys are going to go and ask other people, you know, like, hey, how did you, you know, what worked for you? What, you know, what did you do for that? How did you handle this? You know, is there anything else I can do to try and get this out there? What's the best way? Right. Those are common questions to ask, but a lot of people don't do that.
Well,
my way of thinking is, why do you want to reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, the wheel's already been invented, right? And I'm not saying that you're still not going to have any problems, right? But this can alleviate a bunch of the problems that you may incur just by asking. Not everybody, maybe not even everybody's going to be friendly and give you these answers, but there's actually a lot of people out there that will, right? Because they know that whatever they can do to help by helping you out also helps the industry out overall as well, and helps them. And I think it's a good thing to do to share some of those ideas, because I don't think it's going to hurt by sharing that information.
A lot of us Kickstarters, and when I was first starting, it's funny because I still consider myself new at this, but I don't know if I am anymore. But we just want to. One of the phrases that I've heard at it. Another one is go to as many Kickstarter or crowdfunding panels as you can to learn. But one of the phrases that I've heard multiple times at these Kickstarter panels is we just want to see each other win. And so a lot of creators, indie creators, are there to help each other out. We just want to share knowledge, because we all know we're not doing it through the big publishers, and we need each other. And it's just cool to like. It's been a great experience becoming a part of this crowdfunding, kickstarting indie community. Dave knows. He was there from the beginning. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to get the book made. And then he's like, what are you going to do? I'm going to kickstart it. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. All right. It's your book. All right. I'll do the yard. Now, can I get paid?
Yeah. Shh, where's the
money? What? Help you market? Are you crazy?
No, let me go back to Dave real quick. Dave's heard me say this a million times, but one thing that I admired when I first met him was when I finally said, hey, I met him and we talked a few times throughout the day, and I finally came back. I said, hey, would you be interested in doing, the art for my comic? And his response was like, can I read it first? He wasn't there for a paycheck. He wanted to put his heart and soul in something he liked. So, because somebody can say yes and do it, but not have their heart in. Dave wanted to make sure he liked it. And I thought that was a great response. He's like, yeah, let me read it first though.
Yeah, I think, as most comic book artists, they'll quickly learn that if you're drawing something that you don't like to draw, it's a lot harder to draw hundreds of panels of that, and if it's something that you're excited about, it makes it so much easier. And I think you only have to experience that once when you're drawing something you're not interested in, to realize that it's not worth it. I mean, it's not like you're getting paid very much to draw comic books, so you better find something that you're enjoying to draw. I always make sure that I tell people who are looking to get into comics to draw what they want to draw, because people will hire you to do that. If you're doing something that you're not interested in, it's just going to cause more people to hire you to do things you're not interested in.
Right. Now, some people don't have a choice, right? Because they get into this and they go all out. I don't recommend doing that.
No.
Get a part-time job or a regular job and do this on the side until you develop and improve yourself, and the industry a little bit more and how it works. But Dave is able to do that. He does have the proper backing. Okay, but to go into this full blown and just start up, that's not something that I would recommend.
I think it's a really good break. Like, I love what Austin does. Like, you get to just smash things. Like, that's like the best thing I want to do. And it's like completely not related to art. Think about it. It's not even related to art. So you just not think about anything, but just that, demolition. And you just do it. And you're like, oh, this is great. And then you switch your mind to something else. Whereas, like, if you do art all day, like as your full-time job, and then you do a side art, you're kind of burnt out, I feel like.
It is really hard.
Yeah, I totally get that. But I don't know. I mean, in the summer, that job totally blows, and
No.
no.
Hey, Austin, I got quote a real job too. This comic books is definitely my side chick.
Yeah.
I mean, it is related to art in some way, but it's but still not drawing and enjoying my. Yeah.
So, Austin, how long have you been with Upper Deck?
A couple years now.
Okay.
They hit me up, Matt. God, of course, when I'm on the spot, I'll forget people's names, and I know this guy. Matt Dunford. Yep.
Yeah.
He hit me up. I guess he just found me on Instagram. At first, I thought he was a bot because he
they're all over
some stuff. So I messaged
think Matt
him
would like
personally.
that comment.
Yeah, he told me. He's like, "Oh, people think I'm a bot all the time," but he's actually really cool. I got to hang out with him a little bit at San Diego Comic Fest this year. But anyway, yeah. So I did Looney Tunes set for them, and then a Scooby-Doo one, an X-Files one, and then I'm waiting on a DC one that's coming. So just slowly but surely plugging away at that.
And so what is next for you? Do you have anything else that's coming down the line?
I think the next thing for me, finishing Carmine Sunshine, and then seeing what it will take to put it into one big book like it was originally planned, and maybe try to do a Kickstarter if I can work up the courage. And then I have an idea for another book that is exactly what you guys were talking about, where you do something that you love and that you're interested in and that you're having fun doing. Like, I love dinosaurs, so I was like, I want to draw just a crazy revenge story with dinosaurs in it. And I came up with an idea, and that's what I think. I don't know how long it's going to take me. It's probably going to take me the rest of my life to draw this book, but I think that's what I'm going to do next.
Can we speak now? All right. Okay, so we're going to be looking forward to seeing you next weekend. And are you you're doing the panel with us, aren't you? The art panel?
Yeah, I think there's a sketching panel I'm with you guys,
right.
And then I'm in some other sketching panel with the Janimal,
Okay.
And then I'm doing the drink and draw with Ryan Cody and Hero Initiative.
That's on. Is that Friday night?
That's Saturday night, the drink and draw.
Okay.
And
we'll
then
probably-
I'm also part
probably try
of
to do-
Nathan's Nathan
Price?
his mental health. Yeah, Nathan Price of Night of the Chihuahuas. He's got like
Yeah.
a mental health panel that I was part of last year, mental health and creativity. And so
Okay.
I'll be part of that again this year.
Oh, nice. Cool. All right. So if
Yeah.
you guys are down in Phoenix next week, be sure to check out all these panels that we'll be on, and we'll also be down in Artist Alley along with a bunch of our friends there. Danny Miki is actually going to be there. You don't really see too much of him, so you'll get a chance to hit him up as well. Tell him Mel sent you. He's going to like that. All right.
Sounds like a trap.
Yeah. He goes, that Mel's always sending people over here, keeping me busy. So Dave, what about for you? What do you have coming down the pike? What can we be looking forward to?
Oh, you're on mute. I can't hear.
He's
you.
really light. I can
Sorry.
hear him really
All right, here we go. Sorry, had some technical difficulties there. I've got a couple things I'm working on right now. Me and Art have been working on a new spin-off from California Inc. called Reclaim California, and it kind of follows some of the characters from that series in a kind of I guess it's kind of, what is it, like a zero issue?
It's kind of a side story from the past.
And so we finished the first chapter of that just recently, and then with the editor of California Inc., Justin Giampoli, I am working on another story with him as well, called West Side, and that one is a kind of a different type of story. It's not really science fiction; it's actually more of a detective story. Takes place in Merced, California, which is not if you're familiar with it, but it's definitely a depressed city in California, and he's done some work there, and got some. It's part autobiographical, so it has these crime elements to it that he was exposed to when he lived there. So pretty interesting story. Don't want to give away too much of it yet, but definitely been working on a lot of comic booking there. And then I'm currently also doing a lot of the artwork for this audio series for Dungeon Crawler Carl. Which is this sci-fi story. It's actually kind of similar to one of the comics I've worked on called Space Auditorium, and that's a book series that's been getting pretty popular. And then they did a audio kind of like an audio dramatization of it, and through this company Sound Booth Theaters, and I've been doing all the covers for that. So that's been really cool. That's been a really actually pretty popular series, so it's been getting me a good amount of exposure.
It's been getting some. I heard about it in Seattle, then I was like, wait, that's the thing Dave's working on. I knew it was cool.
So wait, it's about dungeons, but it's a sci-fi? Because usually dungeons, it's fantasy.
Well, it's kind of like he's kind of playing off of like dungeon crawlers, like D&D kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But kind of like in Space Auditorium, aliens come down to the Earth, and they suck all the structures into the planet, and anyone who is inside obviously is instantly killed, but everyone who's outside gets is addressed and let known that they can compete in this competition to go through these dungeons that go deeper and deeper into the center of the Earth, and so that's really kind of the story.
Wow, that sounds like a mystery / one of those like Predator versus aliens, like Predator movie, kind of like what? Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah,
it's a wild story. It's really wild. I mean, and at the same time, I get why it's so popular, because it really is doing something that's pretty different. It's got a lot of it's weird, it's extreme, but also it has a lot of heart in times, and it's got a little bit of something for everyone. So
would you agree? Then Dave, would you agree? Like it's the characters that makes the story. Like if you have good interesting, well-written characters, then the story kind of half the story is done in a way. Is that why?
I think it can be. I think there's so many things that can make a good story. I definitely think good characters can take it pretty far.
Yeah.
I think there's been this trend though where there's been a lot of entertainment these days where they come up with these great characters and they come up with these great scenarios, but then it doesn't go anywhere. It's just a lot of drama, and I think there's a place for that, you know. But I also sometimes I'm looking for a little more too. I think that's one ingredient that can definitely make or break a story. But personally, when I'm looking for like, oh, this story is just well rounded in all the ways, that's just one ingredient.
Yeah, that is true. It needs to have a lot of things in order for it to be good. And
it seems like world building is the last thing people. It's like the least important. Whenever I talk to a lot of writers, they like world building. I don't know, it's characters, plot, and how you tell the story.
All right, let's go around the room and take a look at what we have on the auctions and what we have in the art so far. Starting with art.
All right, let me turn off my virtual background like I usually do. Started inking this guy. Right up. There you go.
Okay, there you go. Krusty.
What is it saying?
He's saying, screw your AI art.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Cigarette falling out of his mouth.
Oh.
Cool. Okay, that has a current bid of $30 from Mr. Ship. So we are looking for the next bid on that. $35. That bid is still like way too low.
Thank
and remember, you are getting it from a true animator of The Simpsons. Okay. All right. And now we go to Dave Law, who's been working on Tank Girl. And he's got a good amount there that's been inked already. Yeah, look at that. She's all smiles. And guess what she's going to do with that? Okay. We are looking for a bid of, what are we looking for here? For $50. And that has one already from Mr. Ship. So we are looking for the next bid too of 55 on that. So way to go, guys. All right. And then Austin, who's been working on Terminator. And Stevie B mentioned that
I don't know if you can see it very well.
It's like Mr. Fish. It's very similar to Mr. Fish, who's a regular on here as well. And Austin draws this pretty quick. He's already coloring it. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is on a blank sketch cover. And we are still looking for the opening bid of $50 on that. Right. And Austin also has a couple other books that he has to offer. And do you want to show those, Austin?
Yeah. Oh, you guys already got them. Nice.
Okay, yeah. There's there you go. $80 is what we're looking for on that. You can just claim that in the comments. So put Swamp Thing claimed in the comments, and they'll be yours for $80. Okay. And then the other book.
They're both hand-drawn sketch covers.
That's right. These are not AI.
Nope.
Fully colored and nicely colored, I will say to that. Look at that biker mice. I can see why they picked you up for the cards as well. What series have you worked on for Upper Deck so far? Austin.
Oh, what's up? You cut out.
Yeah. What series have you worked on for Upper Deck so far?
I did a Looney Tunes one, Scooby-Doo, X-Files, and then I'm waiting on a DC one.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That should be coming. Yeah.
How much do you do? Like I've heard other people that worked in Upper Decks, they would sometimes even do 1,000 cards. That's like insane for me.
Wait, no, that doesn't sound right. I don't think they have 1,000 card sets.
No, Don Wynn, he was talking about it.
Yeah.
They asked for, okay, never mind, but yeah.
Maybe over the amount of different copies, right?
Yeah, it might be like over different series and stuff. Yeah, but
that's wild though.
Yeah, they don't have card sets that high. They're in the
I did 1,000 cards.
Whoa.
See? That's what I'm
I'm just
talking
kidding.
about.
For one
I
set?
didn't really do it.
It doesn't
I
have to
didn't
be
really
a
do it.
set,
I'm
but
just kidding.
Dang it. Had us
Okay.
all.
Nice try. Yeah, but
No, usually it's like 40 or 50 cards, I think, or sometimes maybe a little less, like 30 something cards, but they've paid me. You got to wait to get paid, obviously, but they've paid me, and I've heard I have nothing bad to say about Upper Deck, but I've heard from other artists, local artists, that were like, "Oh, Upper Deck, oh, they owe me money, they never paid me." But I think they're under new management or something now with So
okay. All right, and then we have Mog's art to look at here.
I don't know if you can see it. It's
She's
still very.
working on a vampire city. You can kind of see it.
It's kind of hard to
dope.
see.
There you go.
It's like I'm doing like a military uniform, and then she's like some kind of delivery at the back. She's carrying a huge parcel type of machinery. So yes,
I like that pose.
That's a great angle.
see the pose.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very faint, but thank you.
No, it's very.
Yeah, I can see it. No, that's cool.
Cool.
This is going to be a steampunk vampire, so you'll get to see like what that's about. And we are looking for a bit of what was it? That's looking for a bit of $100. Okay, so we also have another thing to offer you. We have some Simpson posters here, and I'm going to show that up to you. And we got a special deal for you on that. So here's Bart drawing on the board. I will not. God, I can't read that. I will not instigate revolution. I will not encourage others to fly. Just a bunch of stuff that he's not supposed to do. Okay, so we're going to be offering these up at $40. Okay. Now the bonus deal that you're going to get on this is that Art will be doing a remark on there. Okay, so that will be included. And then you're going to have to wait for about a few weeks to get these, right? But if anybody's interested, go ahead and do so in the comments. Claim what poster you want. Here's a Homer living La Vida sofa, and there's a Homer in the beer with the Huff beer. You saw that, and a Homer with the golf. Okay, so any of those you want, just go ahead and claim that in the comments, and we will get that out to you. These posters are brand new, never been opened.
Till I write on them.
Yeah, and now we're gonna break it open so that way Art can go ahead and molest them with his marker.
Whoa. Wow.
Make love to them. Make
There
love
you
to
go.
them.
Make love to them. Make love.
Okay, because
Sweet
they
life.
are now they are now an archival piece. All right, and we want to thank Stevie B. Just placed brings Krusty up to 35.
Oh yes.
All right, so we are now looking for the next bid on that for 40. So if you want that, go ahead and place that into the comments. Okay. Let me just update this a bit here. So Dave, where are you going to be? What's your next con's going to be?
The next one, I think. Dragon. Actually, I think so. That would be the next big one. I'm going to the smaller one called Lit RPG Con, which is a small one in Denver, Colorado, and it's actually just for like the
What?
type of.
They have a lit RPG con?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Oh my god. No, you don't know this, but literature RPG. There's like never mind. It's like a game. It's freaking awesome. It's game literature, but
it's
basically. Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's I wouldn't mind going to the MTG Con in Atlanta.
No, it's not a game. It's basically just fantasy books, fantasy stories.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, is your sister going to that one too, Dave?
No. Actually, the reason I'm going to it is because it's being put on by a lot of the folks that do Dungeon Crawler Carl. So that's kind of the big. He's the author of that's going to be kind of the big guest at that, and I'm gonna go over there, try to sell some original Dungeon Crawler Carl art and some prints that I made for it. So that'll be my
Oh,
first.
you're gonna kill it.
Fantastic.
You're gonna
I
kill
hope
it.
so. Yeah, I don't know. It's a brand new convention, so it'll be interesting to see.
The book
Yeah,
is
let me know.
amazing.
I love like any. That's like okay, Mel. Basically, lit RPG is fantasy stories,
Mm-hmm.
fantasy adventure, or just fantasy stories, right?
Right.
The
Role-playing
only
game.
difference is they actually put in this like information, like you level up, you're level 1, you're level 5. By doing this, kind of like a game a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. But
Yeah.
it's basically a whole fantasy story where the character you build it up by literally leveling up in strength and skills.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of an interesting way. I mean, I feel like RPGs were kind of invented or created because of people's desire to kind of experience to a kind of greater degree these fantasy worlds that they were reading about.
Yeah.
And now we've got literature that's written kind of like from the point of view of someone who's doing like a role-playing game, or like as if you were doing a role-playing game. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Like one of the I forgot the title, but one of the latest RPG I read was about this old man, and they basically plug into the game, and he was convinced by his other old guy friend, and they're dying anyway. So for some reason they have insane levels of strength and strength. So he basically just beats people into submission. This old man. Yeah, it was just
So violent.
it's freaking funny. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just not a violent
It's very
guy.
old school. But there was at the end it was a bit sad because there's a reason why he was so angry. Because it had something to do with his daughter. But yeah. Anyway.
What's that story called, Mog?
I forgot. I'll let you know. I know, but it was a good story.
It was an amazing story. I don't remember what it's called. I do that all the time.
It's about this old man. I don't know. They're both dying, and they're just like one last hurrah. Let's like feel young and powerful again. But inadvertently, he's never played a game in his life, never. So he just gets into this virtual reality, and for some freaking reason, he ends up becoming the most insanely. I think by beating people with his stick, somehow he became so powerful. And yeah. And he still, to the very end, he still has no idea why he's so powerful. He doesn't give a crap. He basically creates a space where it's like he doesn't want anybody coming near him. That's all he wants. He just wants to be left alone. But yet all these people start coming, and he ends up having a dungeon, like an S-class dungeon in his room, in his house, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And he has no idea, so he's just overwhelmed. But it's old school, man. Like get off my lawn type of attitude, Clint Eastwood type of attitude, like thrown in there. It was really good. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you're gonna have to tell me what that one's called when you remember it.
Okay.
So are those cons set up like the cons that we go to?
I don't know. I'll have to. I'm taking some risks on this one, so I've not been to it before. So I'm not quite sure what it'll be like. I think when I look at the itinerary, I do believe there's an amount of gaming that's going to be going on that, that does happen at some of the conventions we go to for comic conventions and such. Mm-hmm. But it seems like it'll be a bigger part of this one.
The fact that you're attached to a big property, I don't know if you're ready for what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You might have some groupies.
You might end up getting,
sucked in.
Yeah.
Dave, you might get pregnant.
Yeah, you gotta be careful, Dave.
Again?
Those things, I don't know. It's not like a Comic-Con bands. They want to probably like get pieces of your hair. Good thing you cut your hair.
I love the again, Dave.
Yellow fever is real.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Just saying.
Oh man.
Oh man. All right. We got 8:25. A little bit more to go before we go to the next break. Once again.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys want to place a bid, Mug is working on a steampunk vampire girl, 8.5 by 11, looking for a bid of 100. Austin Eckert looks like he's done.
Huh?
Terminator on the
Almost.
sketch cover, almost. He says.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, looking for a bit of was it 50, right?
It's all that
Yes.
skill, like
Yeah,
his
he's fast.
practice of doing all that card
That's
art
right, there
like
you
so
go.
fast.
Yeah.
1,000 of them, yeah.
And there's Krusty the Clown, currently at 35 with Stevie B. Looking for the next bid on that. That's going way too cheap. And then we got Dave, who's topping his tank girl
Yeah.
there. That also has a bid of $50 on there. All right.
So Dave, like like in your comics, I've seen that you draw a lot of weapons. So do you end up just you don't even need reference now? You just kind of you can just do it because you've drawn so much of it.
Yeah, it depends on the weapons. I think I have some that I've done in various sequences in a book enough that I kind of remember it now. But I usually do like to pull up references. I think that's that was actually one of the things I remember hearing from Jim Lee, like really early on, and going to a panel where he was speaking, and his I think it was like the thing that he wanted everyone to leave with is use references, look at things like and guns in particular. And then I think another who was it? It was forgetting his name now. I wish I could reference him, but this other artist back before really the internet had so much. Makes me sound old, but back before the internet had so many visuals to reference, he is like, go to this market, get yourself a gun magazine, and just keep that at your side at all times. And yeah, I still actually have my gun magazine that I got from back in the day.
That's so cool.
Bro. That's how it was, right? I remember hanging around the artists like in the 80s and the 90s. And one of their favorite pastimes is just hanging out at the bookstores or wherever magazines were, and they're buying a variety of magazines. Jim Lee used a lot of muscle magazines to do, that he used for reference for his artwork. And you got to have a gun magazine because you got to draw that. Now unless you're creating a world where they'd use different types of guns and where you can make up your own, kind of like what Rob Liefeld does with his guns. Hey, some of those are actually modeled from he used a paint gun reference magazine to draw some of those guns there.
Because
but yeah, they would have like car magazines, muscle magazines. Of course, the girl magazines. You got to have that. Sports Illustrated swimsuit was the top magazine to get back then.
Yeah. That was one that he told me to get to. Yeah, get some issue. But yeah, definitely, I remember the muscle mags. I forgot that. Yeah, that was a big one. He was like, get yourself a muscle magazine.
Car, anything to do with mechanical stuff, cars, airplanes, boats, that kind of thing, because you're going to end up drawing a lot of that stuff.
This is just off the topic, by the way. Mel showed me this video of this place where it's in the Alps, and it's like a tin can that's protruding on a sheer cliff, and they will pay you $300,000. $300,000 if you can last 50 days in there. And everything's paid for. Like food, food, everything, lodging, it's all there. You just have to live in that can that's just jutting out. And so you have, in the sheer cliff of Alps. And if you make it to 100 days, $3 million.
What the thing? Holy cow.
Okay. However, here's the catch. Okay.
Yeah, there's got to be one.
Yeah. There's no internet.
I don't know. Maybe that'd be a bigger deal than I think it would be, but personally, I'm like, eh.
And if you want, you can bring a partner or 2 people or 3, or you can come by yourself. It's up to you.
How about phone calls?
No, I don't think phone calls. It's like maybe they have a satellite, like a radio.
Well, there's probably going to be a phone where you can contact them. Okay.
Yeah. But they say that so the advice is, after all the people they have been there, the advice is do not bring anybody with you. because the argument. Oh, another catch I forgot to tell you is you can't get out. You cannot go out because it's a sheer cliff. It's freaking cold. It's freezing, right? And you're on a cliff, so you can't get out of the tin can thing. But the view is great. I mean, it's like a window. I mean, it's all there, but you can't go out. And they do advise do not bring anybody with you because they end up having always arguments.
Someone gets pushed out.
And the thing is, so far the highest record anybody stayed there is 39 days.
Oh,
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get it and everything, but why did you bring this up?
Oh, I was wondering, would you guys be able to do it? Would you take it?
did you say it's height?
If you do, would you bring what's your strategy? Like, would you bring your wife or, I don't know, mistress? I don't know.
You can't move. You can't leave. You're just living in this tin can and you can't move.
You can tap out anytime, but you won't get paid.
How big is this place?
You
Like
can't
size
leave
of
it.
prison?
You can't go
Very
for a walk.
small. Very small.
It's actually pretty nice looking.
It's very clean, very white,
like
very clean.
Modernized
It's a very
design.
small kitchen. One person standing room only. The John and the bathroom, same thing. One person standing room only.
I don't know. I saw a room filled with like 5 bunk beds.
Yeah, that's the weird thing.
You got
is
everything. You
that-
got the latest amenities in a way, and the view is breathtaking.
So I'd probably get a lot of writing done. Because there's no distraction.
Yeah. So my strategy would be that, man, you have to pile a lot of things that you can do there that will allow you to last and preoccupy your time so you don't go mentally insane.
Or you'd be like prison buff because all you did was just burpees.
Yeah, there you go. Have a routine of workout, have a routine to read and work on projects that you're allowed to bring with you. Work on model kits. I don't know, resin kits, whatever.
But would you bring your wife? That's the question. Would you be able to handle each other?
I mean, personally, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it with or without my wife. I think it would.
Yeah.
I think just like staying inside something for like that long without being able to leave would drive me crazy.
Yeah, that's what happens. And if you do bring
that more than anything, I'd need to get out. I'd need to like walk around or something.
What?
Stevie B writes, shouldn't this show have a beware of tangents warning similar to the Surgeon General's warning on a pack of cigarettes? Nogla goes off on a lot of tangents.
I don't know if there was one bathroom, but it looked really nice. Okay.
That was a good tangent. I thought that was an interesting.
Oh, wait, I think there was a balcony. I did see a balcony.
There was no balcony.
I think I learned something new about myself.
I'd be afraid I would like sleepwalk and fall off.
Really? You guys are that dour about it?
Yeah, I don't know.
So would you try it though? Would you do it? And can you do it, Mog?
I'm debating. Either I'm gonna take you with me, Mal.
No. we'd kill each other.
And then, or I'll take Robin with me.
Oh yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah.
I don't know. But I think for Austin, he'll do it. I feel like he can do it well.
I think so. Sounds like by his silence, he's agreeing.
I think I might be able to do it if I didn't have my wife with me.
Yeah. You know, I'm actually thinking about it. I think I might be able to do it if Mel's not with me. Yeah, but I don't know.
If I do it, Mog cannot be with me.
So you're going alone?
Yeah.
Would you take Dave with you? What about Dave? Dave is very logical.
I won't take anipody with me.
Nah. I think I would be a bad choice. I would not stop talking. Because there'd be uncomfortable silence, and I'd just start talking, and then I would probably wind up dead by the end of it.
Why aren't you responding?
Really, if I wasn't there with my wife, I would be the one that would end up dead. Like,
can my +1 be a satellite internet connection? Like if my +1 could be like an internet installer or something. then maybe we can make it work.
Would I be able to learn how to do smoke signals? And is there someone who would receive them?
Can I eat whatever I want, or do I have to live off the land?
If there is land.
If there's a pig out option, yeah, that's not a bad thing, right?
Heck yeah, or just ice cream, nothing but ice cream for 100
not
days.
bad.
The opposite of the prison diet. Yeah. And prison workout. Yeah.
All right, it looks like Melon Mog froze and have to rejoin us.
Uh-oh.
In just a second. So the inmates are running the asylum, as it were.
All right.
Yeah. That's how you know it's good.
Now we can finally put curse words on our images.
Well, actually, that's my rule. Only because on another show and on this show, we actually got strikes from YouTube about breastises.
Oh.
So we have to be super restrictive because otherwise we get in trouble. Anyway, so I have a question for the three of you. Comic conventions are such a huge part of what it takes to get an indie book out there, to get a self-published book out there. What is the one tip or one takeaway that you have from conventions that you would share with somebody new who's just jumping in and maybe doing their first convention coming up? What's one tip or one little trick you would mention?
I can go first. Dave mentioned this about being honest and being authentic, but on top of that, for me is don't try to sell to every single person, especially if that's not your thing. We know what it's like to be the attendee, and being carnival barked at is really it's the best way for me to be turned off and not want to come to your booth. I've been taught this by a couple people. You can see who's genuinely, even if it's partially interested, even if they're not quite turning their body towards you. If they look at you a certain way, and it's a high smile, but and they're not, you can kind of get the vibe that they might be interested. That's when you can go, when someone is somewhat interested, even a little bit, you can go, oh, hey, would you like to learn more about the series? Or your own version of an icebreaker that's not too like, hey there, the finger guns and kind of like smarmy kind of thing. It's making each one of those attempts the most meaningful, because it's kind of like that guy at that one friend that you have in college who plays the numbers game. If I ask 100 girls out, 3 of them will say yes, right? Or
3%. Wow.
No,
Yeah.
that's really low.
That's high.
That's really low.
I usually get 1 out of 100.
Right, but I mean,
you're asking maybe like 100 supermodels, maybe.
right. I mean, but at a con, it's like, if they're not looking at you, like, let them go by. Don't, hey, look at me. Or if they're barely looking at you and they're trying to avert your eyes, like, don't force them to feel bad about coming over. There's that. And then also for me, the other one is have your log line or your elevator pitch, which is literally you have 11 seconds, 15 seconds to get somebody interested. What would you say to them? Because you will get that down eventually. So those two things are my biggest.
Stevie B, why are we calling out Henri like that?
Anyway. Hurry up, Mark.
What do you say?
Get on here. Okay.
He said, what if the bearded woman or the elephant man were doing the barking? And I just said, why are we calling out Henri like that? Anyway.
It's so mean.
That's really not fair.
That's kind of mean.
It's funny. I get it though, but that's cool.
Hey, he and I had a long conversation about this today, so he earned it. Okay, he earned it.
Yeah.
Dave, Austin, do you guys have a one takeaway from a convention, that you would give to somebody new who's kind of just venturing onto the floor for the first time to try and sell their independent creator-owned book?
Austin, you go first.
I mean, okay. Don't buy the overpriced pizza. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say something like that too.
Yes.
Oh, that's so much better.
hilarious.
Oh, that's
Just
good.
dark. Just drink water.
Bring snacks.
Yes.
Snacks. Healthy
Yeah.
snacks.
One
Or
of the
unhealthy
things,
snacks.
one of the things that I used to do, and I did this when I first started doing cons with Mog, is that I would have these long stem lollipops that I could pick up here in LA. They were really cheap, just pennies, right? And I would have those on the table. That way, people would like look at them, right? And that would get them to come over. People would look and say, "Hey, yeah, those are free." And then once they're there, I give them my pitch.
Nice.
It was like a cheap thing.
Yeah. I think if I'm going to give some advice, there's a couple things that come to mind. One of them is to keep it simple, like keep your booth simple. Like I know a lot of people have a lot of different things they want to show off, or they want to try all these different ways of displaying things, and if it works out, that's cool, But really, I think like when you get to these conventions, you want to just have a nice, clean presentation. And then build off of that. So like if you've never done it before, I would suggest keeping it very simple. A good looking banner behind you, and then your whatever you're trying to sell clearly priced. And I feel like that's a big thing, because like Art was saying, people they're looking at so many different things. If they look over at your table and you've got just this mess of stuff there, sometimes they just gloss right over it. They never give anything any kind of weight or any kind of importance. But if you have just one, it's that, you have that, you think about your merchandising, you think about how the eye is going to look at your table. Less is more. Like I think someone just commented on, and that's absolutely what I'm saying about that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same way how when you lay out a page or like a cover, right? You want to lead the eye. Where is it going to look at? And you don't want it to be like so crowded that you can't get them to look at it. They're just going to bypass like what you have there, right?
Yeah.
So you got to figure out how you're going to stand out. How are you going to catch that person's eye? And that's going to come in your setup and what you do there, right? Do you have something I call it like a showstopper? Do you have something that'll get people to stop and look, right? Because once you have that, you have their attention, and you can do your elevator pitch, right?
Yeah.
So we try to have that, and then along with other things, but that helps too.
And Dave knows that his artwork is the showstopper for me. The banner behind me.
Oh my God!
Not even kidding.
Wow.
It's a total kiss butt thing to do right now, but literally, I don't know how many times people go, "Oh, that's really cool. What's this about?" It's always the art that pulls them in, and then Dave, and then the pitch sells them. Then the sale. It's
Boom.
I really missed.
1-2. It's 1-2.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Taking on the world.
There you go.
Because we're not as good as Austin who could do both. He's so talented.
I totally, I'm sorry. I thought I was charging my laptop, but my laptop wasn't charged at all. So that's why we just cut out.
Same thing happened with my phone. That's why I cut out for a while.
Well, let's show those. Somebody was asking to see those Simpson posters again. If we can show that.
Yeah.
Right. So the deal is that it's $40 for the poster, and Mr. Arthur is going to put a remark on there at no extra charge. It is going to take us some time to get this to you, but if you're willing to wait, you can get that $40 with a remark from Miss, and it's going to be something sarcastic.
Well, we're going to see. Where are we going to see each other to do the remarks? I think you said
Heroes Con.
That's right. So that's
We'll meet at Heroes Con. Then that's in about
less than a month, like 3 weeks.
less than a month away.
Well, we can just mail it to him because if things we have so much to carry.
Trust me, I got that taken care of.
Okay.
And I trust mail more than the USPS.
There you go.
Yeah.
There
Speaking of which, did you read the posting from Ben Templeton? That's another watercolor artist. He just went to Dallas, and he lost his work. He lost his work backpack. And check this out. In his backpack, it has his laptop, all his work drive, all the what do you call? What else is there? All the portfolio
Oh,
originals.
Whoa.
You're talking about all his life work in the drive and the laptop and everything that he works with.
Did you say Ben Templesmith?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh no.
yeah. Happens
Yeah.
just today.
His laptop, his drive, his
Yeah.
medicine, his
Medication.
I mean,
So-
oddly enough,
work portfolio.
auction.
You know how it happened? It's because just like what I was saying, you carry too much, you end up having luggages and blah blah. So he just got up, the airport. So he got on a train.
He was traveling by train.
So he carried all that stuff. And you
Wow.
know how sometimes if you're alone, you have to carry lug so much, you forget that one small thing. And he left that in the train, I think. Yeah.
He's trying to be prepared for Dallas Fan Expo, which is a really good con, and you can sell a lot there. So that's probably why he was bringing a lot of things over. Okay, so, but so why were you telling that?
Because we talked about luggage and can you carry all that? Sometimes like it's best to maybe
Okay,
simplify, like what Dave said.
Yeah,
You gotta simplify.
yeah. But okay, as far as like those Simpsons posters go, I have the room and I have the right material to carry that and protect it, to get it over to Art and bring it back safely, and then mail it. I mean, I might even mail it straight from Heroes if I can find the post office there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is available.
I think it's funny that you were talking about the luggage mog, because like I think, and this advice isn't going to last much longer, but one of the other great pieces of advice that I got early on was to fly Southwest, because you get two free pieces of luggage that you can check on every time you travel somewhere, and that was valuable.
If you do have a Southwest credit card after that whole thing, you get one free bag.
Oh yeah.
Is it one? Okay, okay. Yeah, you'll still get one. Right now, I know they had a deadline as to when they were going to stop the 2 free check-ins.
May 20th.
May 25th or something like that, but they might have extended it.
Hmm.
And I kind of saw something in that, but I'm just not sure. All right, 10 minutes left on your bids. Go ahead and get those in. And if you are the winner of any of those or the Simpson posters, go ahead and fill out the magic form that we'll be posting up in the comments very shortly. Austin, you want to show those 2 covers one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah, CVB is saying that it's starting on the 25th of May this month. There we go with the Biker Mice Mars. Right, looking for $80. You can just go ahead and claim that straight out there. Okay, and then the Swamp Thing. There you go. Same, looking for the $80 on that. Okay, claim that in the comments if you want those. Okay, currently we have a bid of $35 on the Krusty the Clown from Art. We have a bid of $50 on Tank Girl from Dave, and we are still accepting bids on those. And we're still looking for a bid of $100 on Mog's Vampire, Steampunk Vampire. Okay, and so all that is happening. And next week, we won't be here because we'll be at Phoenix with Austin. And producer Kyle will have something here for you guys, so you can pay attention to that. And then when we come back, we have Thomas Doherty who will be here from Committee Comics. He's been here before. And Jen Leonard will be catching up with her to see what she's been up to. Now, there is another artist that I have invited for that show, but I have not got confirmation, so I don't want to say anything about it yet. But if I do get this person, I think you guys are going to be very pleased. He's been in the industry for a very long time and does very, very good work, and is still working as well. All right, so stay tuned, true believers. Hit that follow button so that way you can get updated on all this. And be sure to watch Nick Barucci's The Original Art Show every Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay.
Next week, the host of the show will be K-pop Junkie. If you guys know Katie,
Nice.
from her channel, and then I will be co-hosting as capably as I can, knowing very little about the art of drawing or art. And then we are confirming our guests this weekend, but likely it will be some names you've never seen on the show before, and maybe an old favorite who has been doing some big things over on TikTok. So hopefully, we were talking about him earlier today. Mog seems to think he drew 1,000 cards for somebody.
Oh, that's my dude.
We'll see. I gotta nail him down. He's a little slippery sometimes.
He is a little slippery, you know. I tell you, man, that guy is very, very slippery at times. All right, so we have all that, and you guys got a few more minutes to place in any more bids on these before we go. Okay, so we got all that information, and we've got more exciting news to tell you, and we'll tell you about that when we come back in 2 weeks about some of the other artists that we're planning to bring on the show, trying to get you guys all excited as we head into the summer run of the cons, with San Diego being around the corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Austin, are you going to be doing San Diego this year?
San Diego Comic Con or Comic Fest?
Comic Con.
No, I wish. I've always wanted to do that show, but I don't really know how to. I mean, do you just go online and apply? Are the tables like insanely expensive? And I don't know any of that.
The tables are not expensive, but there's a massive waiting list.
Yeah, there's a massive waiting list. The table is free, though.
No, it's not. What are you talking about? No.
They're not free? Artist alley
No,
tables?
no.
Okay. My bad.
And
That's a dead giveaway there. I haven't done San Diego in a long time. But like you, Austin, we hope they have San Diego Comic Fest this year. I haven't heard anything about that. Have you?
No, I heard that they might be skipping it again, or skipping it for the year because they have to find a different venue or something like that. But I'm hoping that that's wrong and that they do, because I had a blast.
Yeah,
because I didn't make it last time because the venue was a bit farther out this time.
It was actually not good.
Oh.
It was very slow. There was they were making a joke how there was more vendors than consumers because it wasn't advertised well.
Yeah, but it's part of the pains when you adjust and change venues. But in the past, it's been a show that has done really well, and it is one of our favorites. So we're hoping that they can bring it back and get back to where it was before. So yeah, hopefully. All right. So Stevie B writes, Dave, is Tank Girl staying black and white, or will you be adding anything post show?
I'll add. You know what? If it goes up to 55, then I'll add some color. Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
55 will get you some extra color in there or something, So, all right, we got about a minute left, guys. I want to thank you guys all for coming. Quickly, let us know how we can, how the audience can find you online. Arthur, starting with you.
Let's see, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads. Am I missing anything, Dave? Any of those will be at Art Ebuen. It's there on screen. At ARTEBUEN.
There you go.
Yeah.
And how about you, Dave?
Yeah. I'm at Instagram is it's Dave Law. Facebook I think is Dave Law Art. I also have I think I'm on Blue Sky as I think it says it's Dave Law.
No, yours is Dave Law.
Dave Law, okay, it's just Dave Law.
Yeah.
And then I think Threads I'm in there somewhere.
Threads Insta.
Yeah. I think I mostly post stuff on Instagram and my website. So yeah.
Right. So Dave's still trying to find his identity, but
no, you know what's funny? It's like basically Dave was me and Arthur was you for a moment there. Arthur is acting manager right now.
Yeah, Dave, you're Dave Law Art on Blue Sky.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. How about you, Austin?
I am Austin Ackert Art, just all one word, on Instagram, Blue Sky, that's Sarah or Kara or whatever thing that everybody got on for 2 seconds, and then nobody ever heard about it again.
Yeah.
And then I'm also on Facebook as the Art of Austin Ackert, and I have a YouTube that my son posts a bunch of pictures or videos on. So there's not much. There's some drawing stuff on there, but yeah, that's about it.
Okay. And everybody knows where to find Maud. It's Maud Park on Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Thread, whatever. If you want to find her, just type in her name. It'll pop up. Okay. We try to make it easy and not confusing. All right, guys. I want to thank you guys all for being here. It was great having you guys, and we'll definitely have you guys again. For everybody else, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Pay attention next week. It is Katie, K-pop junkie, who will be here, and you'll get to meet her and hear about everything that she does on her show as well. All right, guys. Thanks again. You guys have a wonderful night, and everybody else in the comments, thanks for coming on by.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Join the party. Head over to our Linktree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.